3 Chinese balloons spotted over Taiwan Strait, ahead of January 13th. Polls. After the recent complaints from Taiwan's defense ministry against Chinese spy balloons, the ministry once again detected 3 more of them flying over the Taiwan Strait on Sunday, reported Reuters. The Taiwanese ministry, in a statement, had earlier accused China of threatening aviation safety and undertaking psychological warfare on the people living on the island with their spy balloons, a few days ahead of the critical Taiwanese elections scheduled for January 13th, according to Reuters. The Defense Ministry of China did not respond to these complaints and had previously declined to comment on the balloons last month as well. According to Reuters, the Chinese spy balloons became a global cause of concern last February when one of them was shot down in the United States, calling it a Chinese surveillance balloon. China, however, called it a civilian craft that would have accidentally drifted astray into American airspace. Due to Chinese military and political activities, Taiwan is on high alert ahead of its presidential and parliamentary elections that are to be held on Saturday, January 13th. Taiwan's statement also revealed that China has been exerting military and economic pressure with the intention of interfering in the upcoming elections, reported Reuters. Taiwan's defense ministry has reported numerous cases of Chinese balloons flying over the Taiwan Strait, with some being spotted near its major air bases on the island that China views as its own territory. As per the daily report issued by the ministry on Monday, Taiwan reported that there were 3 balloons that had flown over the strait's sensitive median line, and one of them even crossed the Taiwan island right at its southern tip before vanishing in the east, as per Reuters. Xiao Bi-kim, vice presidential candidate of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, asked China to stop harassing Taiwan. Zhou Xiaokong, the vice presidential candidate of Taiwan's largest opposition party, the Kuomintang, KMT, also called out China to stop sending warships and aircrafts into the strait, reported Reuters. China's Taiwan Affairs Office, on the other hand, reinstated that the strait's median line does not exist and that Taiwan's DPP is hyping up the threat from the mainland as the election approaches. As we step into the next scenes, we'll delve deeper into the diplomatic fallout and the potential impact on Taiwan's elections. Stay tuned as we unpack the story behind the balloons of intimidation. The floating intruders have not been without consequences. Indeed, the diplomatic fallout from the balloon incident has been significant, with ripple effects felt far beyond the Taiwan Strait. One of the most prominent fallouts was the cancellation of the planned visit to China by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. This was a key diplomatic event intended to address various aspects of the U.S.-China relationship. Yet the balloon drama became an unwelcome guest, dominating the agenda and eventually leading to the cancellation of the visit altogether. The incident further strained the already tense relations between the 2 superpowers. The Pentagon tracked the balloon but chose not to shoot it down, considering it not to pose a significant threat. This decision, however, did not go down well with everyone. Republicans in the United States criticized the Defense Department for not responding more urgently to the airspace incursion. They argued that a stronger response was necessary to deter China from such actions in the future. China, on the other hand, expressed regret for the incident, but denied any deliberate provocation. They called for a cool-headed approach to the matter, suggesting that the incident was being blown out of proportion. This denial did little to quell the concerns and criticisms from the international community. The fallout from the balloon incident was not limited to the US and China. Other countries, such as Canada, were also closely monitoring the balloon's movements, indicating the global concern this incident sparked. The balloon drama has disrupted attempts to improve relations between the US and China and has added to the political tensions in both countries. It has also raised concerns about China's intentions and tactics in the run-up to Taiwan's elections. The balloons, initially seen as harmless weather monitoring devices, have now become symbols of a larger geopolitical struggle. The balloons have left more than just a trail in the sky. They've stirred up a political storm. The diplomatic fallout continues to unfold, with the full impact yet to be seen. As Taiwan prepares for its elections, the world watches closely, waiting to see how this political drama will play out. As the balloons cast a shadow over Taiwan, an important decision looms on the horizon. Taiwan's upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections, set for January 13th, are not merely a routine democratic exercise. They bear significant implications for the island's relationship with Beijing. On one side of the political arena stands the DPP candidate, Vice President Lai Ching-te. Lai is viewed with disdain by the Chinese government, who label him a separatist. His potential presidency, many believe, could escalate tensions between Taiwan and China. This is a prospect that has been amplified by the recent increase in Chinese military activity, including the deployment of balloons and military aircraft over the Taiwan Strait. On the other side, you'll find the KMT candidate, Hu Yui. He promises a different path, one of closer ties with Beijing. In fact, he has framed the election as a stark choice between war and peace. This rhetoric resonates with Beijing, who has a known preference for political parties in Taiwan that lean towards them. These differing stances highlight the crossroads at which Taiwan finds itself. The choice isn't simply about selecting a leader. It's about defining the future of Taiwan's relations with China. Will it be one of escalated tensions and a push for independence? Or will it be one of closer ties and a quest for peace? This election, under the watchful eyes of the world, is not just a matter for Taiwan. It's a matter that implicates the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region, the future of democracy, and the sanctity of sovereign nations. The choice between war and peace, as framed by the KMT candidate, is now under the scrutiny of not just Taiwan, but the world. In the face of foreign influence, what does the future hold for democracy in Taiwan? This is a question that hangs heavy in the air, much like the Chinese balloons that have been spotted over the Taiwan Strait. For a moment, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the Taiwanese people. Their airspace, a symbol of sovereignty and freedom, is being encroached upon by balloons from a foreign nation. Is this merely an act of atmospheric research, or a new form of political intimidation? As we've explored in the previous scenes, these balloons are not just filled with helium, but with implications that span from personal privacy to national security, and even the sanctity of democratic processes. The diplomatic fallout from these incidents has been significant. The cancellation of Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to China, the strain on US-China relations, the criticism within the US Defense Department, these are all ripples in the vast pond of international diplomacy caused by balloons, no less. Moving on to the upcoming elections in Taiwan, the presence of these balloons has added an additional layer of complexity. Candidates are now not only addressing domestic issues, but also responding to this airborne intrusion. The question of how to handle relations with China has become a central theme of the election. With accusations of election interference and misinformation from Beijing, the Taiwanese electorate must navigate a challenging political landscape. And herein lies the broader implications for democracy and foreign interference. If left unchecked, such tactics could set a dangerous precedent. The essence of democracy is the freedom to choose, free from fear and manipulation. The sovereignty of a nation extends beyond its borders into the very heart of its democratic processes. As we look to the future, we must consider the resilience of democracy in the face of such challenges. Will the Taiwanese people's voice be heard over the hum of these high-altitude intruders? Will their choice be their own? Or will it be swayed by the shadow of foreign influence? As the balloons continue to float, they carry with them a question of paramount importance. What does the future hold for democracy in the face of foreign influence?